Friends, most people don't know I have written screenplay for Vivekananda film. It was to be a modern film. It didn't. It didn't materialize for many reasons. The producer said whatever the outcome of the script was, not my script, but the script a professional, not that professional, a debutant or a newly upcoming writer. Whatever he wrote was to fit to Bhakti channel or to History channel, but it is not coming to the mainstream level. Uh, Individually, the incidents of Swami Vivekananda's life were very good, very high. They were all giving very high, but we were not able to, according to him, we were not able to find a story that can hold these highs and give incremental highs and plan to pay off formula. They have their own formula for making movies. So it was not fitting in those formulas. So they had to abandon the project. Anyway, on that context, so I was also asked to write a screenplay for Vivekananda script. I wrote in English, so probably my language was not that good. But my story, I liked the story. They did not. I made them hear. The way I took the parts I took from Vivekananda, the most important parts, they didn't feel connected to that. So, anyway, why I was saying all this thing is that how I took the story of Vivekananda is that according to movie making, film making business, you should be able to say the story in three parts: Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So, in Act 1, the introduction of the hero, the protagonist, so that would come, and with a great high, who he is, etc., is established, so that people are connected to that protagonist. And then suddenly he falls into an abyss and he falls into a place where he never expected. It's so new, it is dark, and it's very puzzling to come out. He's in a maze. So that is the Act 2. Act 3 is how he comes out. So if you are able to do this, then they say the film would be successful according to filmmaking students, etc. So I wrote this movie of Vivekananda like Sisters and Brothers of America, and that would be the opening shot. Everyone knows it and everyone is expecting that. So that comes, and the applause, famously for 3 minutes, etc. So while the applause is going on, Vivekananda would not look at Vivekananda himself in that fashion, right? In that elevated level as these people were. So he would be bored. Actually, he had to wait. He wanted to resume, he would have, but he was not allowed to resume his speech. And it's okay. It is welcoming, this kind of applause, because it is not really for him. It is for Hinduism, and it is for harmony of religions, and it is for age-old Indian tradition and the heights that India could achieve. Therefore, what would be going on in his mind? Flashes of what has happened in his life, flashes of his guru, and flashes of India's current at that time, 1893. At that time, what was the uh, condition of Indian people, and slavery, extreme poverty, famine, and such things, etc. So his eyes would water. And then his meditation, great meditation, 3 days and nights on Kanyakumari Rock Memorial. So there, one whole day meditating about India's past, and the next day, the present and the present condition, and the third day, he would see the future. He would see what happens in the future and how he has to start that future, how he has to take initiative and lead, how Ramakrishna's appearance has started golden age, as he said, on this earth, how it will come about. Obviously, whatever God does, we think it is miracle. Once it happens, we think it has happened swiftly, but everything would have to happen in a very natural, organic fashion, without anything really seemingly miraculous. but we all have to work for it. Whatever effort or whatever we put in, it has to match nature's already set laws. So anyway, and then I don't remember right now how that act 1, act 2, act 3 would be, but this would be the opening. And then he goes back to his childhood, and then he would come back. It would end with he coming back and inspiring Indian masses, and that way on the high. Anyway, why I'm telling you all this is the note I have written to make this video is one line. It is cinema interval before and after, mukti for self and mukti for all. So most people think spiritual life ends with attaining mukti. If you see Vivekananda's life, it was very short, 39 years. I'm 43. So I'm 4 years elder to Vivekananda. And I kick myself why I'm not Vivekananda yet. Anyway, so by 39, anyway, by 28, 29, he said he has achieved whatever a human being would want for himself to achieve. The highest he has achieved. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, certified by his own guru. So really, those 11 years, the next 11 years that he lived, it was for the world. It was, he wanted to start some, I think impetus is the word. So I may be wrong, I don't know, but he wanted to give a push to this world. He always said, it's not reform that I want, it is revival. So he has given it in his own fashion. And we always need to mold ourselves in that fashion and then take it forward. That is our job. So what we think is that is the climax, and gaining mukti for one's own individual self is the climax, but that is the interval scene. Okay, so the second half is what everybody misses. Second half is where you live, you utilize that mukti that you have and work for everybody's mukti. So this portion is very sadly being forgotten. And if I don't know, I have no words even to express how criminal it is to forget the second part. Because if it is only for one's own mukti, we have traditional monasteries like Sringeri Pitha, Kanchi Pitha, Dwaraka Pitha, Jyotish Pitha, and other such traditional Pitha and Pithathipatis to lead us. But Vivekananda was a modern warrior monk. So what is that warriorness about? What is the war and what is the modernity? It is looking at the current society, the Jagat, and not seeing Jagat as some obstacle between Jiva and Brahman, but seeing Jagat, as Sri Ramakrishna put it, Brahman and Leela, Maya, or this Srishti, this Prakriti, are just obverse and the reverse of the same coin. But really, you can say that a snake, if it is coiled up and is in a static position after eating a lot of lunch, that is Brahman. No activity seen. But the same snake, python, when it is moving about, going to hunt, it is wriggling, and that activity, that is when that is the example or analogy for this Jagat. It's the same snake, but one is in dynamic form, one is in static form. That's all that is for Brahman and Jagat. We are Brahman, and Brahman itself is Jagat. If you are saying Jagat and Jiva are different from Brahman, I don't know what sampradaya you belong to. I mean, that's not the ultimate truth. Well, it may be Vyavaharika Satyam, but it is not the ultimate truth. Now, the easiest method is to catch hold of the ultimate truth and top down looking at the world. But what decides our duty is to plan bottom up and do your immediate duties and go from wherever you are towards up towards the top. Okay. Now, I just wanted to point out that the cinema, whatever you are thinking, is only first half. The second half, that is the most important part, and that is what Vivekananda established a missionary for, and we're all part of that. We need to see, if you think that you are part of it, you are part of it. If you are not, you are not. Okay. Vivekananda did not, yes, he understood that there is great power in organization. So he wanted to tap that power of organization to spread the message of Sri Ramakrishna and Vedanta, which is supposed to solve all the problems that this Jagat is facing, at least this planet is facing. So if we are not able to actively find solutions and supply solutions, and the society is not in a position to think that these solutions are relevant and apply to them and then benefit from the solutions, we still have the mission that has to we have to fulfill. So the job is not done. It is, doing the charity and all the activity that you're talking about today has no meaning if all that activity is not part of a great divine master plan wherein you can solve everything. Like whatever Vedanta is supposed to solve, Vedanta is supposed to solve all problems forever, irreversibly, in a permanent way. So if that is the divine master plan, the macro plan, the service activity you are talking about and you are showing to collect donations should be the micro part of that macro plan. If the macro plan is not there, you're only showing the micro plan, micro activity, and then gaining donations and leading life comfortably, and just like the proverbial cow. Uh, I don't know what we should call ourselves, but it's very disappointing. Vivekananda would be very, I don't know, his state would be very, very, his state of mind would be very uh, negative if he knows about it. Anyway, maybe it is time for people like me at least to talk about it, because at least it is not even talked about. The whole point is, see, if you have a problem, you recognizing the problem is the first step. Recognizing the problem, first step. Second step is analyzing the problem. Third step is finding a solution, theoretically at least. And then fourth is to be part of that solution. Now, if we don't even recognize the problem, if we don't even talk about it, then it is very difficult to go to the fourth step. Thank you for listening.